Good afternoon, dear friends. Today I will show you a strategy called crocodile. This trading strategy works perfectly on OTC pairs on weekends. According to the strategy, I mostly work Saturday, Sunday, when I have time to trade. And this trading strategy shows at this time. The win rate is about 70-80%, sometimes even 90%. So let's figure out what the essence of trading on the strategy is. First, you need to add two indicators to your chart. These are the ADX indicator and the RSI indicator. I have already added them to the chart and have already set them up. We set the transaction time for 2 minutes. You can set the transaction amount from 1 to 10% depending on what risk you want to see for yourself on the transaction. Let's say I don't want to put a risk on a trade of more than 10%, but today I want to disperse my deposit a little bit because I have traded the strategy before and I am confident in it. Today, after each successful transaction, I will increase the price of the next transaction by $50. I will also trade today using the margin gain system, that is, with each negative transaction, I will double the amount of the next transaction in order to recap the negative transaction, as well as earn to top. So, now let's understand the essence of trading on this strategy. So, what does the ADX indicator indicate to us? He says that the trend is now strength trading and the price is in the range as in this example. We see that the line of the ADX indicator is moving in a horizontal position, not up, not down, but simply traded at the same level. This means that it is now sideways. You can see on the chart the price was trading in the same range. If we see that the line of the ADX indicator is in upward position, then the trend is strength trading. And now it doesn't matter what it is, downtrend or an uptrend. Next, we have the RSI indicator. The RSI indicator shows us the price is now in the overbought zone above the 70 level or in an oversold zone below the 30 level. What these levels tell us? These levels say that the price can turn around after reaching them. And at these moments, we cannot open a deal on the continuation of the trend. If we see that ADX indicator is in an upward direction and we know for sure that the trend is straight trading, but on the RSI indicator, the indicator line is already in overbought zone or the oversold zone. We don't open deals at such moments. Why? Because we are likely to see a short-term correction. This means that high volatility and sharp price jumps will most likely push the same price to an early correction, and thanks to this we will catch a minus, so there is no need to trade. We will trade only when the line of the RSI indicator is between these zones. There is between the overbought and oversold zone from line 30 to line 70. So, as you can see in this example, here, when we reach the level of 25%, we could no longer open a trade for a decrease. Why? Because the RSI indicator was already in the oversold zone. Therefore, here we could catch a short-term correction and catch a minus. But let's say in this example we see that the line of the RSI indicator has not yet reached the overbought zone, and on an ADX indicator we already see the increase of the 25% indicator line. At this moment, we could open a deal for an increase of 2 minutes and get a profit. The same is true in this example. We see that the line of the ADX indicator is above 25%. It also crossed 20% from the bottom up. And the line of the RSI indicator is between the overbought and oversold zone, which would also allow us to open a deal to increase by 2 minutes and get a profit. So, let's check how effective these strategies. I'm starting a trading session and now looking for a suitable opportunity to enter a position. Go! So, I found the first good opportunity to open a deal. We see that the line of the RSI indicator is located between the overbought and the oversold zone, and the ADX indicator is in the upward direction and has crossed the 25 level for a long time and is also moving in the upward direction. We open a deal to continue this uptrend and wait for the end of this deal. So great, we opened a deal to increase the trend and got a profit. Well, I will probably open another deal right away, since we have just touched the overbought zone, but I still assume that the price will trade at this level for some time and so far the uptrend will continue until the correction begins. Therefore, we can immediately open another position for promotion here, and we will wait for the end of the transaction. I will not raise the amount of the transaction yet, because we have already touched the overbought zone and there is a small risk a grabbing of minus. But still, I have already done this before and I believe that uptrend will continue further. Great, as I expected, the recent trend continued and our second deal also turned out to be positive. Well, I will already increase the amount of the next transaction to $200 because I had to increase the amount of the second transaction by $50. But I didn't do it because there was a small risk of grabbing a minus. Therefore, I will already set the amount of this transaction at $200 and we will look further. So, in this example, I will open a downside trade. Since the RSI indicator line has not yet reached the oversold zone and the ADX indicator is in the upward direction and is about to cross the 25% line. It also crossed the 20% line from the bottom up, which indicates the possible beginning of a good downtrend. We are trading on this downtrend, waiting for the end of this transaction. Great, our third deal went into the plus and we got $184 for it. Well, the amount of the next transaction, the fourth, I will increase to $250 and look further. So, here I saw a great opportunity to open a position for a fall. We see that the line of the ADX indicator has crossed the level of 20% and 25% from the bottom up and continues its upward movement. This means that the trend is trend trading and we have not yet reached the oversold line, a great option for opening a position for a fall. We are waiting for the completion of this transaction. Great! Our fourth deal also turned out to be positive. Unfortunately, the payout for this currency pair was below 70%, only 59%. But since the opportunity to open a position was just perfect, I could not miss it. Such positions come in with almost 100% probability. Yes, of course, I understand that it's impossible to talk about a 100% probability. Science and strategy doesn't have a 100% probability that this or that position will turn out to be positive. But from my trading experience, I can say that such transactions always come into a plus for me. Well, we set the amount of the next transaction to $300 and look further. So, here I saw a great opportunity to also open positions for an increase. We have crossed the 25% level on the ADX indicator and continue the upward movement. And on the RSI indicator, we are between the overbought and oversold zone, which tells us the uptrend is likely to continue. Yes, we have reserved such a red candle and a block order is being formed, but perhaps this blocked order is false. Signs the indicators indicate the continuation of the uptrend. We are waiting for the completion of this transaction. Unfortunately, our fifth deal turned out to be negative. Negative. Well, according to the martingale system, I will set the amount of the next transaction at $600, twice as high as our fifth transaction, in order to recap it and earn more from above. Well, let's look further and not despair. Negative deals happen. So here I see a great opportunity to open a position for promotion. Why? Because we see that the ADX indicator is going in upward direction. It has already crossed the level of 25%. And on the RSI indicator, we see that the indicator lines are trading between overbought and oversold levels. This allows us to open the position for an increase, and now we are waiting for its completion. Great! Our sixth deal turned out to be positive, went into the plus. As we can see, after opening the deal, we resolved a false downtrend movement, which provoked the mass to open short positions. And immediately we note out all the short position with this green candle. The downtrend continued. Such false formations happen very often, and they should not confuse you. Trade strictly according to your trading strategy and adhere to the results that you have set for yourself. So, perhaps I will finish today's trading session with this and summarize the results for today. We have 5 profitable deals and 1 was negative, but we immediately bought it using the martingale system with a 2-fold increase in the transaction amount. We earned money during today's trading session: $200, $400, $500, $500, and $1,100. Lost $300. So for today's trading session, we have a profit of $800. Agree, it's very good, considering that I've been trading for only 20 minutes. A wonderful results, again. I repeat, trade clearly according to your trading strategy. Try not to change the settings on the indicators, but trade clearly according to the settings that you set. And also do not give into emotions, and the result will not to take long. Thank you all for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.